What's up, everybody? Well, first off, let me just say thank you to everybody that's coming by here to watch live. I always have to check when I go live to make sure that I actually have sound. Let me just double check here. Yes. Okay, cool. I do have sound. I don't know how many times I gone into a live like this, and then after speaking for a couple minutes, I look into my comments and realize that nobody can hear me. So it's very frustrating because then, you got to delete the thing and start back over. And sometimes I give up. Anyway, so I always check now. All right, so the reason why I wanted to do this live stream is just to kind of give some motivation to some of my friends that are in the B2B space. Um, right now, it is the 17th of December. That is a week before I would say probably a 2 week weekend for some businesses, right? So, what happens? A lot of people who are consultants or small business owners or whatever, they start hanging it up. And that's because they think that a lot of businesses aren't going to be making decisions. And, to be perfectly honest with you, I think that this is the best time of the year for somebody to actually turn it up a notch because the businesses that you're going to be reaching during this time are going to be the businesses that are serious and they are already tooled up for a awesome beginning of 2020. So don't pull back, hit the gas. It's time for you to, go full throttle. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about SDRs, sales development representatives, and how you can use them effectively to be able to generate more higher quality prospects and literally just have the ability to kind of pour on as many appointments into your calendar or live transfers. Even mostly you're probably going to want to do appointments when it comes to this type of the sale, but have as many appointments on your calendar as you really want, no matter what time of the year it is. So what we do, and it really boils down to just a few key ingredients, okay, when it comes to any kind of prospecting. The first thing is you want to spend a lot of time trying to identify who your target is. You want to identify the ideal type of business that is going to need your services, that is going to be able to actually afford your services. And I will say that no matter how good that the rest of the things that you have in place are, and I'm speaking about the messaging and talent with regards to callers and stuff like that. No matter how good all of that other stuff is, if you have the wrong audience, if you're targeting somebody that doesn't have a need, that doesn't have any desire or interest that for what you have, then you might as well not be doing anything. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about how you can identify high quality people. Now, for me, um, I like to use certain types of tools. There are some where they plug into, let's see here, Sales Navigator. So um, you can go into Sales Navigator and you can do a search for a specific type of business. Um, we'll just pull a quick little keyword search because I'm not going to dial into how to actually perform a good search. But for example, here, you could go in and do like a keyword search or look for specific industries or employee size, head count, those types of things. But there are tools that plug into your Chrome browser that would allow you to gather information um, from these results, these search results, things that will go and find the email and find the phone number and that sort of thing. I use a tool called Seamless to do that. So this is a good way to find a good quality prospect, because you can specifically search for people by title. You can go in and look for specific companies, size companies, that sort of thing. Okay. Another really good tool that I use for searching for prospects is Built With. Built With is probably one of my favorites because you can really pull down a lot of data. And I know some people will say you should really be laser focused on your efforts, and I agree. But I'm laser focused and also going to send out lots of messages at once. And so you can do that when you have a large list. So with Built With, you can identify businesses that have a specific technology on their website, and then you can go in and look for other things as well. So I'll give you an example. I pulled a report earlier while I was on a sales call with one of my prospects to show him. Let's see here. I was looking at Zoom. These are websites in the United States that use Zoom, and I pulled 103,000 websites that use Zoom. Well, when you pull that search down, it gives you a lot of cool information about that business, their sales revenue, their tech spend, how many followers they have. And then when you look at the specific record, you can see the information of the individuals actually that you want to talk to, their email addresses, their phone number, their social profile, all of that good stuff, right? Which is very similar to the same information that you're going to get from a sales navigator tool, right? Um, but again, you could just pull down a whole lot more at once. So that's the first thing that I typically do. But then I go into the um, where is it? Ideas. And depending on what type of business that you are, I specifically work with a lot of B2B stuff. You might pull this B2B focus report. And this is actually going to help you find sites that use a known CRM like a HubSpot or a Salesforce or a Pardot or something like that, or Pardot. I think that's how you say it. Anyways, it'll help you identify those, and then also that make sure they're not like e-commerce type of company. And then you can take that report and reach out to those individuals so you're not wasting time. But in this case, I was working with a agency to help them increase to scale up their cold marketing efforts or their cold outreach methods. And they were interested in e-commerce sites. So here you can see there's an e-commerce component to this as well, right? So I really do like Built With because of those things. They give you, this is just a couple of the easy ideas that you can use to be able to pull a decent report. And then once you've pulled that report down, you're looking at something like this. This is a report that I pulled a couple of days ago. These are businesses that are advertising on LinkedIn. But not just businesses that are advertising on LinkedIn. There's software businesses that are advertising on LinkedIn. So I have their tech spend, and I know who the decision makers are and their contact information. And we're rolling out a cold outreach campaign to all of these company founders and C-suite executives to help them expand their cold outreach. So this is the type of businesses that we know because of what we sell. I know that they have the budget for this type of thing, and they're doing whatever they can to try to bring in more leads. You never want to try to sell something to somebody who isn't interested in it, right? If I were going to sell advertising, I'm going to go look for people that are already buying advertising. I don't want to go to somebody and try to sell them why they should advertise and then sell them my advertising. I'd rather find people who are advertising and then sell them my advertising. So the same thing goes for a service like this. If I know that this business is trying to generate more leads for their sales team, that means they have a sales team and I can help them. Okay. So that's the first thing, right? You've got to find the target. Once you have a high quality prospect or a suspect, we'll call them at this point, that for sure is going to be a good fit for what you have, Then the next thing you need to do is you need to come up with a message. Now, I'm going to show you, um, let's see here. I'm going to show you what we do. Okay. And why not? If you want to copy me, that is fine. But this is because we do a cold outreach service for businesses using our software, using our tools, and using our teams. So we built a system, and and I test different things. Sometimes what I do doesn't work. Sometimes what I do works. But usually I'm measuring my results and looking for the the response. And then once I see not just how many leads I get, but the type of lead that I get, I might tweak some things in my message. Okay. So in this case, I'm sending out a link that says sales calendar link for, and then it's personalized with their company. You want to try to do as many personalizations as you can, in your subject lines and throughout the email, because it will help with your delivery, with your email delivery, and also it helps with the conversions because the person who's seeing it will see that you did your homework, and that's actually good. By the way, there are also tools out there that do like one custom one lines. So like this first line can be customized. Now, I don't know if they do like the second line, but I think they do the custom first line. You can do that. It costs money. They use artificial intelligence to do that. It's not cheap. I think, depending on who it is, you could pay, I it's at least 25, 30 cents per line. I'm pretty sure. But again, I personally don't do that. However, what you do want to do is keep in mind when they see your email subject line, and then they see the first line of your email. Uh, I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. When they open up their email, they're going to see your subject line, and they're going to see the first 15 words or so of that email in the preview. On a mobile phone, it's a little bit different. They'll see less, but you want to use these words here to entice the person to open up your email. This is very valuable real estate here. This and this, and I always try to make these things line up so they make sense. And always use something creative that's going to make them want to open the email. Don't be deceptive, right? You don't want to use anything deceptive, but you want to use something that is going to make them want to open up the email to see what the rest of that email says. Because if you get more opens, especially with cold email, that's definitely going to help you tremendously with your sender score. That's one piece or one part of increasing your sender score. So getting that open. Plus, if you can't get them to open your email, well, then you don't have a chance to get them to convert because they're just going to hit archive or delete and move on. Okay. So in this case, I have a sales calendar link for blank, for whatever company. Again, if I'm pulling a list of people who are advertising on LinkedIn, I've got that company information here, right? And I'm also trying to let them know that this is something to do with helping them with getting sales, right? And that's what I do. I help them get sales. So subject line, sales calendar link for John or ABC company. Now, if you have their first name here, definitely you want to put their first name in there. Again, back to the built with situation that does have that. So we will personalize that area. So, hey, John, I'm looking for a link to your sales calendar. Now, if you saw that, the first few line or first few words, sorry, of your email, you're going to be intrigued if you are trying to increase your sales. It sounds like someone's looking for a calendar link so they can book an appointment on your calendar, right? Even if it's a small company. I just wanted to make sure you're not, and this is probably around the place of your email where um, they won't be able to read anymore. I think it's going to be somewhere around here. It might be two, but somewhere around there. So this is enough to make me click the email to open it up to see it. So this is, again, what I'm trying to give you an idea of. When you're writing these emails, use that real estate to get them to open. Now, once they open, they're obviously going to want to read the rest of this. So I just want to make sure you're not too busy to handle all the new appointments I can send you. If you're saying something like this is like this is a direct approach. If you want them to go like, whoa, like wow, like really, that's my this line, right? This is approach. This is a different style, and I've used a lot of different styles, but this is a style that I use to make them kind of like question me a little bit, like really, and then get them to read the rest of the email. So the reason I was checking, I'm sorry, the reason why I was reaching out. Now, again, the next thing you want to do is you want to let them know why you're reaching out, right? So the reason why I was reaching out is because our cold callers have grown accustomed to making fat commission checks. Now, again, I'm going to be hooking them up with a cold caller, so this is why I'm explaining this. And they're still probably thinking like, what's going on here, right? They don't understand it yet. And that's good because I'm trying to keep their curiosity enough to make them read enough to where I can hook them in. And so we found that companies, I'm sorry, we found that happens more. We found that happens more often when we help successful company type. So this is their company type, another customization. Let's say software companies like yours get more deals, and I will guarantee that in writing. Bottom line, again, and this is something too, backing up what you say with some kind of a guarantee. If you can provide that, then do it. I do have some sort of a guarantee that I provide to my customers, and so that's something that I get in there to make them again say, okay, these guys are different, and continue reading. Bottom line, we'll provide the call list, or I'm sorry, we provide the call list, or we'll find it for you. Actually, he's supposed to say you. I'm glad I did not send this out yet. You provide the call list, or we'll find it for you. Each reps will make 400 plus cold calls daily, data mine the gatekeepers, and book meetings with decision makers looking for, and then whatever their service is. Now, this is another one that you want to be specific about. So now, obviously, when you're doing a large broadcast type message, it's difficult to give everybody, exactly what they want, but maybe actually here's a perfect example. If I was reaching out to software companies, I know from software company perspective that we don't want monthly users as much as we would want annual uh, subscribers, right? I would rather not get more month to month subscriptions. I'd rather have more annual subscriptions because that means that I get like an annual all of the money up front, right? Increases my uh, average lifetime value of my customer, right? So in here, that if we're reaching out to a software company, that's what I would say, because it's going to make them it's going to make them be more interested. Like, I'm not just helping you get more customers, I'm helping you get this specific thing that you want more of. And in this case, more revenue isn't enough. Like, I need to understand what your idea is. And if it's different, well, I'm going to reply. Okay. The costs are affordable. Now, in this case, this is a hook. Again, I don't suggest always putting a price in there, especially when it's something low like this. But this really works well for me because we pivot into we offer multiple services. So we have a basic level service that allows just about anybody to get in. And then we have a higher tier service where we offer more um, done for you service. So this here is just like let me get you somebody, and then we can help them find cold callers. And so we charge a fee to find a cold caller, and a good cold caller. You don't want to hire somebody for $3, $2 an hour. You want to find somebody, if you're going offshore, on a higher pay rate because they're going to have better English and they're going to have more experience, and they're not going to be free, right? So I usually just throw that in there just to get their mind thinking. But when I get on the phone with them, mostly I end up pivoting into a higher service. So if you have something like that, you might want to do, because most businesses are interested in done for you over doing everything themselves, especially if you can demonstrate that you have the ability to help them, right? And then finally, here, I try to give them some kind of a takeaway, some kind of a reason why they want to reach out real quick. Um, and in this case, I'm just letting them know that we're about to enter our busy season, because it is going to be our busy season. That's not a lie. It already is starting to pick up. Everybody wants to start the first week or two of January because they want to hit the ground running, right? This is that new fresh year, and all of my last year's problems magically melt away. Now everything's going to be perfect, and I'm going to have rainbows and butterflies, right? So I let them know that that's about to happen, but I can still squeeze you in if you reach out today. And then I ask them what is their best number. That's my call to action. What's your best number? You don't want to ask a yes or no question. I mean, you could, I guess there are some certain circumstances where I've done that. Um, but usually if I want their phone number, and by the way, I already have their number, but I'm using this as my way to get them to reply back and say, yeah, I got a minute. Let's talk. Okay. So that is the email. Okay. So we've covered a couple of things. I've talked about the targeting, give you a couple of ideas, didn't really get into too much detail. I've also discussed the messaging. Okay. Now, what's next is, I think, the most important piece, and that is the ability to scale. Okay. If you are a sole, one man show or a one gal show, if you're all by yourself, don't, if you can't do anything about it, if you have to be by yourself, fine, you have to be by yourself because if you don't have the resources to grow, fine, okay. My suggestion is that get your sales system dialed in, get a good get a good prospecting method, target, get the list together, get all the things that we're talking about together, make some attempts and get somebody talking to you, and make sure that you'll be able to close those deals. And then if you can, then I would immediately find somebody to help you do the things that we're talking about here. Obviously, I can help you with that, and that was actually kind of a plug, but not. But get somebody that can help you with that immediately, so that way you can put that on somebody else's plate, so you can stay closing deals, so you can stay doing what you do best. And then the next thing you should do after that is you should find somebody that can take over the closing role from you, and then just keep on scaling from there. You can now, once you have a system, you have your salesperson and you have the leads coming in. So leads coming in first, right? Booked appointments first. You're closing deals. Once you've proven the model, then you go out and find a high ticket salesperson who can do the same, take over your spot. So now you can now go out there and hire two or three more of those uh, lead generators and SDRs. Okay, and then bring on another closer, and that's how you scale. So I promised that I would talk to you a little bit about the system and how to not end up being cold calling. Okay, because cold calling is not effective. Warm calling is really what you want to be doing. And what we found as effective is to get these lists, send out the cold email, and then handle all of the responses. So you need a lead generator, which is the person who's sending out the cold emails. You can use a software, but we don't. We do everything manually. We do have the ability to use a software, but for the most part, everything is done manually, and we're sending out thousands of emails per day. And it's not going to break the bank to do it that way. But with a manual approach, the open rates are higher because the delivery inbox rate is higher. You don't get emails burned as often, and because it looks more human, because it is human to Google. Anyways, so that's the first part. You got the lead generator sending out the emails, and you've got the SDRs that are getting the responses. And let me just give you an idea of what that looks like. So this right here is our cold emails campaign. So when we have our leads going out, or our leads coming in, our team, whoever is sending the emails, are also taking the responses, and then they put those responses on a spreadsheet for us, which is zapped into Hot Prospector, right? And so Hot Prospector, which is our system, is set up with our callers. So you can see here we have our callers making their calls. So far, like Ashley's made 220 calls today, and looks like Kim has made 150 calls a day. Ashley's got 3 leads so far for the day, and you can measure all of these metrics, which gives you a good idea of what's going on. So, especially when you have somebody that's starting out on your campaign, like this girl here, you don't know what specifically is happening if you just see she has no leads. But I can look at this and I can see that it doesn't look like she's hitting any decision makers for some reason. She's not even hitting gatekeepers. She might have a problem with leads or something like that. She's definitely hitting a lot of voicemails. So I can dial in and listen to those calls and find out specifically what the issue is. I can also see that she's got a very high call gap time, which is double the call gap from her partner. That also is a problem. She's not making as many calls. So managing your SDR, making sure that, by the way, I did not mean to do that, but managing your SDR to make sure they're doing what they're supposed to be doing is also very important. So yeah, that's basically it, guys. I mean, what you need is a system. You need something that is, multiple components. I love to have one person that is doing one job, that's responsible for one thing, doing that thing. Because if that person's not doing their part right, then I can easily go in and find out why and fix it, right? But if you have one person who you call an SDR who's doing the emailing and they're doing the cold calling and they're doing all of these things because you're trying to save money, you're actually costing yourself more money because one, a normal person can't do that. It's not even realistic. But two, you don't know where their inefficiencies are. Mostly, my suggestion is that it's going to be getting somebody to respond or to answer the phone. So when you have a SDR who's really good at like setting appointments, making calls to people who've already raised their hand, well, they're going to get a whole lot more appointments, right? And that's basically it. So now you take all these leads, which by the way, over the last 2 days, I've generated myself looks like 3 more are coming in right now. This is my sign that 3 more leads are coming in. They usually put the date in first. So far, since the 16th, since yesterday, we've generated almost 25 leads. And by the end of the day, I'm sure we'll probably have probably another 30 or so. So, well, now maybe about 20. We'll have probably another 20 by the end of the day. Okay. And then those people are getting phone calls and they'll turn into appointments. Usually we see about a 25% booking off of our leads that come through. So, you get 20 leads, you're going to get 25% of those, 5 of those or so are going to turn into an appointment. Okay. All right, guys. Well, anyways, I appreciate everybody for coming in here today and watching this. I hope it helped you and, at least give you the motivation to let you know that it's not over. It's don't hang it up. It's the 17th and it's Friday and we're still making appointments and closing deals. Actually, I have another meeting in about 25 minutes, sales meeting, and we'll probably have stronger week this week than we usually have on a normal week because we've got the big motivating factor that if you want to get something done for your business in the early part of January, well then you got to do something now, right? That's huge. Businesses, if they are saying, well, we'll put it off and wait until next year, okay, fine, you can do that, but we got to get started now. And that means that you got to pay now and we got to get things moving because if not, then you're going to go to the end of my list. And that means that you're not going to be able to get what you want done so you can scale your business in 2022 until maybe February or March. And by that time, the first quarter's over. What are you doing? Right? So yeah, it's the 17th of December. And really, if you're not focused on making sure that people realize that time is of the essence, you're missing out on opportunity and they're going to miss out on a whole lot of time. All right. All right. Again, thanks so much for watching. I hope this helped you and we'll see you around again soon.